Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. How is everyone today? Good morning here in Kanawha County, West Virginia, USA. Good afternoon, Ronaldo. Glad to have you on board. Glad to have all the peeps out there looking and checking and doing their things. Well, what happened there? No. See, the other day I got a nastygram from somebody over on Fountain who said 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in and you're not ready. I'll be back in 2 weeks when you're ready. And I thought, well, I don't think that was right. Because we were having a conversation. Now, granted, the conversation was because the video seemed to be lagging on the live stream. But, it was still part of the show. My setup was ready to go. The problem was on the other end. So we were rocking. Show notes, Friday live, Tuesday maybe. Oh, did I not change it? I got to go back and change it. I will change it. Hello, folks over in Clapperland. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Yeah, so my setup was right, but my show notes are wrong. I'll fix it. It's okay. It's just a thing. But I'm glad you caught it. Glad you caught it. I actually had a couple of hang-ups this morning trying to get ready. I've got a guest that has booked, not really last minute, because she booked yesterday for today. So technically last minute bookings I don't take, so you can't book today for today. But she reached out to me, late afternoon yesterday about how close I was to the Culture Center. And I sent her a message back and told her, and it was a couple of hours before she actually booked. She's attending a conference in Charleston and was looking for a spot to stay. So I kind of thought maybe she wasn't going to book after that amount of time had passed. And really, we're in pretty good shape most of the time here. I sometimes I'll let things get out of hand a little bit. Not too bad, but so I had a few things out of whack that I've got to get taken care of. But that was more along the lines of last minute things I have to do to get ready for a guest, especially when I didn't have here. I'm going to fix the show notes now so that I'll put them back up. I got that done. Last minute bookings aren't really a big deal. Right now, the problem is all the other things I've got going on. So I have to, some of the things I was going to do this afternoon to get ready for tomorrow, I can't do now, which is okay because I enjoy my guests and I'd rather have guests. Just a matter of scheduling. So how's everybody? How was your weekend? Did anybody do anything exciting over the weekend? I know it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday here. I guess it might be Wednesday over there, Ronaldo. But we didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, I had we went out to eat Saturday, just to Applebee's for my birthday, late birthday dinner. When the birthday falls through the week, it makes it hard because of the time of the day that we get up the time of the day he gets home from work, the time of the day that we have to get everything else done, it just makes it hard through the week. So we went for a late birthday dinner on Saturday, and it was yummy. I had the Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp, and it was very, very good. All right, let's see where we at. First off, for those of you that are listening over on Fountain, this is episode 41 of the Holstein House podcast. It premiered on the Fountain Network, and it's available now on Apple Podcasts, Google Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, iHeartPlayer, Listen Notes, and Samsung, all those great little spots. And so if you hear of something that gets your blood boiling in a good way or even in a bad way, if you hear something that you didn't know before, if you hear something that you never thought of before, or maybe a direction you never thought of before, I hope you will boost. I hope you will try to clip something and share it around, share the information out, share the podcast out, share the video out, share the YouTube out with all your friends, and share value for value in exchange. I don't come off, I don't want to pretend to come off as some kind of professional podcaster. I'm not. I'm just a West Virginia woman. I'm the West Virginia woman hanging out on YouTube and on Fountain and on Clapper and a few other places, not necessarily live. Rumble, I've got Rumble, MeWe, and all those others, but that's all right. So we'll well, I'm already started. So, and then it'll make a little more sense here in a few minutes why I keep referring back to I'm ready. I'm started. My setup is right. We're all good. I don't care if you come back in 3 weeks or not. Doesn't matter to me. But we'll get on started. The porch railings, I haven't talked to the contractor yet again. This isn't an issue. I know he was going to be trying to bind them in a couple different places. He's also rather busy, has a couple crews working already, so it's okay. It's not a big rush, except that I just wish it was over. I just wish it was done and over, and I didn't have to worry about it. But it'll come. It'll come. I did talk to a young lady about stopping by tomorrow to basically interview to do some housekeeping for me. She sounds like a good fit on the phone. We'll see when she gets here. One of the other things that kind of threw me off, we had the electric guy here, and he was knocking on doors and he's changing out meters. And I was hoping he wouldn't come here this morning because it threw my timing off, in addition to being, out of sorts from some other things that are going on. So he hits the ring doorbell. I have a ring doorbell down in the office. And unfortunately, I can't set the chime different, the sound for the chime. So I'm checking the front door here and the back door here, and I don't see anybody. I'm like, what the heck? I wonder if it's down at the office, and which would be really weird because down at the office, I only take people by appointment. It's not like you can just walk in off the street. So I checked the ring doorbell and saw the back of the guy. So I walked down to the office, which, took up some extra time that I could have used getting prepped, and asked him, hey, what's going on? He says, well, I'm just changing out the meters. I said, well, now I know my bill's paid. He says, oh, no, that's not me. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not doing that. I said, okay. He said, we're putting in new, I don't know if he said system or equipment. All these people like to use the word system like it's some big magical word, and it's not. It's really not. So he says, it won't take but a few minutes. Do you have your computers and stuff? I want to know. I turn all that stuff off when I leave. So then I come back up here to the house, come in, sit down, settle the dogs because they get all tore up, And here comes hitting the doorbell here. And I'm like, well, that was fast. He says, yeah. He says, I'll give you a couple minutes to shut down your computer here. I barely If I had this laptop, if it didn't have a battery, I would have been in a lot of trouble. I barely had time to go down to the bunker and shut down things down there. And I was going to come up here and shut the HVAC off because, when you have those interruptions in electric, it's hard on your HVAC and it's hard on your light bulbs. It's hard on all that stuff for that power surge like that. So if I know the power is going to be out, or if like say a tree takes down a power line and you're going to be without power, I go through and I shut stuff off. I didn't get everything shut off. And he was already pulling the meter and I heard it pop, but it was not like an electric pop. It's where he was slamming the casing or whatever that's called, box around the meter. And he was done. I'm like, well, crap, it was enough to just reset everything. And then I was going to ask him if it's one of those stupid smart meters. I don't want a stupid smart meter. I don't want a smart meter. Just leave my meters alone. I think it's too late. I think it's probably what it was. I've not had a chance to go out there and look at it. Ronaldo's daughter-in-law and grandson popped in over the weekend for a surprise visit. They flew in from 750 kilometers away. Wow. I know you had a good weekend. I know, Ronaldo, you had a great weekend. Anytime you can see the grandbabies, anytime you can see them, it's always great. It's always great. Well, I'm glad they come in. I'm glad they come in. I did see the one picture you sent through the telegram, and just a darling little fella. Just a darling little fella. The power guy, the electric guy, he's already gone. So I didn't get to go ask him what kind of meter he put in, but he just said they were upgrading things. I'm surprised he put one in at the office because the insulation on the line from the pole to the meter is in bad shape. Bad shape. The whole thing needs redone, and I just don't have money right now to do that. All right, let's see. Okay. We did get the over-the-air antenna taken care of over the weekend. I still don't have the one channel. I got to go and dial and and adjust the antenna. He was doing that. I was really busy with some other stuff, so I couldn't really help him. And I was trying to catch some laundry up and just general stuff that I had to do. That by the time he got finished running that cable, and it was kind of like I thought. He was able to connect. He was able to connect one of the coax cables from the basement to this other spot and take it up. No, take it. Well, the way he put it in was down from the chimney, but it's the signal. Well, the signal's going down too. So the antenna is up in the dormer, and he ran a cable into the attic, down the chimney, out a spot in the chimney where previous people had already put a hole in the chimney, which is not ideal. I get it, but it's there. Run that out to connect to the line that comes up at the television where we used to have the satellite connected. So he was able to get that done it was a pain for him to do it, I'm sure, because he had to, stick his arm and be up in the attic and stuff, but it relatively easy. So we've got that. I just need to go up here in a little while when I tidy up the guest room some more and see because I have to rescan the guest room TV anyway, and see if I can get it to pick up Huntington Station. And today is the last day for my subscription to DirecTV. Good morning, Clark. Good to see you. I actually have, if you are on Clapper, I'm running a live stream over there to see how that goes. I've done that. I think this is the third time I've done it. And mostly what I get are, well, let's just say that Josh and Brian wouldn't have to worry about the kind of comments I get over there. I think we had that conversation a little bit on Telegram. Um, it's just unfortunate. Just unfortunate. But I'm glad to see everybody over at Clapper, and hopefully I'll be able to grow over there a little bit. Clark, did you do anything interesting over the weekend? Have any grandbabies visit? Ronaldo had his grandbabies visit. I didn't have any company. We're having company today, though. We're having a guest come in today. But I officially did it. I pulled the plug on DirecTV. Today is actually the last day. It was the last day of the billing cycle, and I went into the app. I closed it down on Sunday, and they said, "Okay, well, sorry to see you go. Why are you going to? Why did you cancel?" And they give you a list of, you know, problems with the stream, problems with customer service, costs too much money, and other. There's always an other. Well, what I put in other was 2 words: OAN Newsmax. Now, I didn't watch OAN hardly at all anyway, and I rarely watch Newsmax. I will read their headlines from time to time on my phone because I have the app on my phone as well. It's just a matter of principle to me that I just absolutely cannot imagine that they would keep stations like CNN and MSNBC and do away with OAN and Newsmax. And I get, Fox is the gorilla right now. There was a time when CNN was the gorilla. Well, there was a time that CNN was the only game in town, but I don't need that. I don't need to support that. You didn't do too much, Clark. Hey, every now and again, you just got to kick back and recharge. And that means drowning some worms or, just watching TV or just hanging out on the porch. Sometimes you just got to do that. But I'm so tired of all of these companies that, I can't do it all. If I tried to protest by quitting stuff from companies that supported things that I don't, you couldn't even be out in the woods anywhere because somewhere somebody is using something that growing plants or monitoring or weed killing or something that you don't agree with. So, but I can do some things sometimes, and I have decided that, after 24 years, DirecTV is one of those things I can do without, and so I am. So you guys over on Clapper, I do have a little wish list up there, coffee and donuts. You can contribute. I think I have a nickel. I think I have a nickel over there in my wish list from the last time I put that up. So I'm moving to T-Mobile. I don't have that done yet. Maybe I will get that done Saturday, this Saturday coming. I have to figure out still yet if my phone is paid for. My iPhone has a crack on the screen. I do have that insurance, I think, on my phone. I know I had it on Mr. Holstein's phone because of the way he works. And his phones get damaged sometimes at work. But I don't remember if I had it on mine. I'm not sending it back for repairs. And I won't get any trade-in on it to go to T-Mobile. I already talked to the guy about that. Mr. Holstein can get some trade-in off of his Samsung. And beware of T-Mobile. They have done me wrong and many of my friends. Rake 77, over on Clapper, I put out feelers for my friends. I asked them, what they thought. And I've only had one person come back and say they didn't like T-Mobile out of about 8. Now, granted, that's not a huge survey, but, I was surprised that 8 people I knew used T-Mobile. Their maps look good. Their rates look good. I'm not sure how you were done wrong. And I was with T-Mobile for 5 years. Phones were paid off, and they would not unlock them. I lost 3 phones. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know anyone that's had that experience. Very common for T-Mobile. I'll ask before we actually sign on the dotted lines. I'll ask if anybody I know, anybody in my circle of group people have had that experience. I've seen that with others. I've seen people complain about AT&T not unlocking phones, but it was because they weren't paid for. Oh, I mean, I can only ask. I have to say that, um, people are, there's going to be problems in any corporation. Somebody somewhere is not going to be satisfied. I don't, as of right now, you're like this, only the second person that has suggested, and the other person said that they didn't have service in one area that they really thought they did, but that down in the valley at their campground. So I'm not sure really if that would have been an issue or not. I mean, if you're going camping, you might want it for emergencies, but how many decades did we go without cell phones? But I will ask again. Verizon has been the best. I have Verizon for my work phone, for my business phone. It's not bad. I don't do much with them. I just have a small setup with them because I don't really use it that much. I get maybe 3 or 4 calls a day on it. I really need it more to contact because of the nature of what I do when I'm doing my notary work. I have to be out and I have to let people know that I'm almost there and follow up on contacts with them. So, excuse me, I got a little allergy stuff going on here. I just don't know that. Compare Verizon with T-Mobile. Look up reviews. Yeah, I'll look a little more before we sign. Before we sign, but I'm thinking Verizon is as far as supporting things that I don't agree with. I'm thinking they're not much better than AT&T. I am a conservative who leans libertarian. I'm not I'm not way over there, and I'm just kind of almost in the middle. Not quite, but so there's a lot of those things that I don't want to support. Yeah, give less and charge more. You're right. You're right. Well, I'm glad for the interaction over there on Clapper. Thank you, Rake77. Thank you very much for your contribution. So yeah, I will look. I will ask around a little more for folks to see what they think about T-Mobile. They we'll see. We'll see what's going on. I mean, it may well be I still go with them. They have a good plan so far, but we'll see. I'll ask around some more and see what other people think. But yeah, I have to make sure that the phones are paid off so that AT&T will unlock them and all that stuff. So it's almost a no-win, but I don't know. Does anybody? I don't know anybody that has Patriot Mobile. Isn't Patriot Mobile the one that Glenn Beck talks about all the time? I don't think I know anybody that has that. I am a I do a lot of streaming with my phones. I stream our church service to the the Facebook page for my church. I stream videos for our Bible study. We because the church is too small to have our own internet, so we shoot to church, our church. Oh, I love my church, but it's a throwback. It really is. Has no technology. The PA system is from the 70s. I was talking last time about one of the speakers is one of these like 4-foot monsters. It's crazy what we got over there, but I love my church. But so for Bible study, when we're streaming some videos, I use my phone. So I'm a heavy user on my phone. So I can't have a company that's just really excellent at talk and text. I've got to have, plus my work, I need to have good service there. And up until now, AT&T has been good. I just can't continue to support them. I just can't. So we'll have to figure out something there. Let's see. Oh, all right. So we had a house church for 4 years. It was awesome fellowship. Where are you located, Rake 77? I haven't seen a reference to a house church for a long time. Now, here at Holstein House, I've talked to you before about being at Florida. I have a cousin down in Titusville. We've got the guest coming, and I'm I'm kind of out of sequence with all the things with the church that I've been. I don't want I don't want to sound ungrateful because I believe I've been put in a position to make a change. I don't know which direction that change is going, but I believe that that's what it is. There's a lot of things that's been, oh, I don't want to say dumped on me, but kind of that's how I feel today. But there's a lot of things that's happening now. I'm having to pick up a lot of the slack over at the church, and it'll even out over time. But just right now, it's very challenging for me to keep up with everything. So I still haven't gotten the website updated to add Hipcamp, and I haven't gotten the Holstein House site up at all. I started working on that some Saturday, and combined with him working on the cable or the putting the coax in for the antenna and some other things, I just didn't get it done. When I tried to load in tried to get to the C panel for Holstein House, I couldn't access it. I'm afraid it may be this dumb VPN that we've got, just constantly changing the address, and I just drives me crazy. I need it. I need it. We are done with church where two or more are gathered. There will be. We don't like church politics. Well, that's a different discussion, Rake 77. Church politics and the church. The scriptures tell us that we are together. We are together. Now, if you are saying you don't want to be part of a formal denomination or thing, I get that. But we are commanded to support each other. We're to fellowship with each other. We're to help each other. We're not supposed to do it on our own, and we can't. We can't. And isolation is one of Satan's best tools. If he can get us isolated, he can convince us of anything. If he can get us isolated, he can convince us that the Holy Spirit rests in this ink pen and to worship this ink pen. He can do that. And we need fellowship. We need fellowship. We need time alone, but we need fellowship. So I couldn't get to the C panel. I couldn't get the website updated. I got frustrated and I just walked away from it. So I just could not continue with that. I have to go. Oh well, I mean it's just normal stuff I've got to do upstairs. Normal when you run a B&B or an Airbnb out of your home, and especially an Airbnb, because you I don't know a lot of people that have repeat guests unless they're a destination like a lakefront property or something, and I don't have destination around me close. Like you could walk over and get to the river, but it's not tourist river access. It's not public access. It's there, but you don't. There's not like a boat ramp or anything, so there's no access there. What where I am located, I am a resting spot. Now, if you are here for something in the city of Charleston, you got about a 15-mile drive. It's possible, and I have had people stay 2 and 3 nights going to concerts and doing things, in Charleston. I've had a traveling nurse stay. I've had uh, uh, a, a contractor he was contracted with the power company to do some work, but he wasn't like a lineman or something. He was like a mechanic. So he was in to do that. He had he stayed here for several weeks while he was here on the job. So I do have those on occasion, but the primary, my main guest is somebody who's coming north or south on Interstate 64 and 77. Got to feed the horses. I know what you're saying over there. I have chickens I keep fed, and I will listen to stuff and then have to take off and go do that. So you have a great day, Rake 77. I hope to see you again. If you aren't following, I hope you will follow. So I have there's just basic stuff that you have to do. You have to go through and you have to tidy up, you have to dust, you have to do your laundry. When you live in the house that you're sharing your B&B with, you still have everyday household responsibilities, and then you're adding your guests on. And so I've got to run up and get things tidied up for the guest, rescan the channels on the television, because we provide over the air television and we provide internet access. So if they're wanting to stream, then they've got the Wi-Fi. It's separated. That's kind of the reason I've got the VPN. I was able to split that off and provide a separate guest access so that they've got their own access and password, and I've got my own, so that they don't get to see my stuff, my business stuff, and access our computers and things here at the house. So they can stream whatever television programs they want to stream, or whatever, on their own laptops or their phones or whatever, with the access to the Wi-Fi. But I change out the decorations in the room for the seasons, and um, we're coming out of the winter season and into the start of spring. So, and change the calendars. You got to change the calendars and stuff. So there's things that have to be done in the room, specific to the room, and I take care of that. Got to go through and and dust, make sure it's all cleaned up, spick and span for everybody. So I got to do all of that for this young lady that's coming. And I normally it's not that bad, except like I said, I was getting kind of I was slacking off a little bit, because it's been about a week or so since our last guest. And I don't usually have them coming on Tuesdays. And so Tuesdays has been obviously my streaming day. So now I've got this. Whee. Great. The Hipcamp, I still haven't yet got it together. The weather has not cooperated. I don't have any scheduled guests anyway, so it's not been a big push, but I need to set up the tent, or the pop-up for the toilet, for the temporary toilet. So the wind has been just terrible, and I don't want to be out there fighting with this pop-up, trying to put the posts in the ground and tie it up, and while the wind's whipping and knocking it all over. So I've got to do that, and so I can get some images and update the Hipcamp page. And the rain, it's just been squishy and nasty out there too. So as long as I don't have to go out in it, then we're okay for now. I mean, I'm going out there anyway for the birds, for the chickens and the ducks, but I didn't want to be out there fooling with that. I probably, as I'm working on all of this and thinking it through, probably the tent camp part, I probably will make it a little more seasonal, opening it up maybe late March, early April. And then the camper van one could be all year, I guess. Except maybe, I don't know. I'll have to think that one through a little bit too. Because I can't, well, it's just not a community I'm familiar with yet. So I need to learn that community, when people are coming through, because when it's really bad and the weather's really bad and it's icy and stuff, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the calendar, if I should keep the Hipcamp calendar open all year or not. And I've got a little time to worry about that, because I mean, we're getting ready to go into the good weather, so people will be camping. It won't be as, big of a question. Should I shut it down after the holidays? Should I shut it down before Thanksgiving? I mean, it's just a lot of stuff to think through. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But I'm putting together, I've already got it drafted. I've got to do some fine tuning on it. I kind of don't like it. The information is fine. It's the layout I don't like. But it's a one sheet. I've got some weather resistant paper that you can, they make like notepads and stuff that you can write on pencils when it's wet out in the weather, like for people who can't. So I got a ream of that paper to make some stuff for the church. Plus, I want to put a sheet out in the temporary toilet, just reminders, just basically, please, you know, use these pine shavings to cover this up before you leave. Keep the door shut to keep the birds out and keep the cats out. And if there's something that's not here that you need, let me know. And just little stuff, not to mother hen someone, but just some little things so that they know what I expect. Because I found with the Airbnb that sometimes you have to actually keep reminding people of stuff. I have people, this young lady that booked yesterday for today, like so many, I have very clearly positioned the check in time for the room for my B&B. It is it's the first thing in the description. It's the first sentence. Check in and check out, or check in time is from 3 to 6 firm. And I do that for a reason because we get up at 4 o'clock and 4:30 every morning. Even on the weekends, I don't sleep late by much because I got to feed the cats and the dogs and the chickens and the ducks. That's just how it is. I don't have a big farm, but those of you guys with homesteads and stuff, that you might get an hour. You might get to sleep in an hour on the weekends or so. You don't get to sleep in like you did when you still lived in your parents' home on the weekends. So it's you still have to get up. So I'm still getting up, you know. And hang on just a second. All right, sorry. But anyway, we still get up. So it's just too early to have people coming in at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Then we have to settle the dogs back down, have to show them through the house, show them everything is that, answer all the. Well, this young lady, she didn't read it either. And this is typical of people who have stayed with us. They don't read the full description. The only thing they're looking for is availability and price and location. They don't care about the rest of it. So she had already booked it. I have a strict cancellation policy through Airbnb, which means if you book it within, 24 hours and you try to cancel, you're going to pay me the full thing, the full fee. I mean, I can't book it again because you've locked up my calendar. And even if you canceled it, that calendar has been locked. The odds of me getting it booked again are slim to none in that short of time frame. So anyway, I there are just some very basic things that people need to be reminded of, and you want to remind them of that politely, and that's one of the things that I'm working on for the Hipcamp to have in the restroom. Now I'm thinking when I'm putting that together, I need some kind of light in there, right? So do I put a little solar light and say, okay, if you go in the dark, take this light in with you or whatever, or do I make them use their own? I don't want to go clean up where they've missed the toilet. It's a lot to think through. I don't know. Have you ever stayed at a hip camp? I'd love to hear from you if you had, just to tell me what your experience was. If you host, if you host with hip camp, I'd like to hear what your experiences have been. So I want to get that done. I don't like the layout. I try to find something that's not too cheesy, but not too grumpy and not too generic and just a bulleted list of black letters on white paper, that just looks terrible. So for the hip camp, if you've never heard of it and if you were wondering what in the world would you do, I offer parking space for your camper van or small, like a teardrop camper kind of thing. There's not a lot of space, so it's not a class A or a large class C. I mean, it's not. It's just a small one. So you're in between areas where you can camp. You don't want to stay. My understanding is that Walmart's getting a little more particular about people staying there overnight in their campers. The rest areas are not really designed for that, even though you could get away with it. Either your small camper van or a tent. And the tent idea I was thinking about a while back, but then Brian with the Lots Project mentioned Hipcamp, and I started looking at that, and I'm like, oh, that's what I was thinking about. I'd never heard of Hipcamp, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's just space. It's just space for, a little bit of pocket change, $10, $15, depending, and you can reserve it. You should reserve it because if you're going to be traveling through here. So yeah, reserve you a spot, hang out for the night. The most on that is 2 nights. I have restricted it to a maximum of 2 nights. I'm not interested in having people staying in the yard or parked here for weeks at a time. It's just a quick overnight stay, maybe 2 nights, catch your breath, get a shower, eat something, on your way from here to there. And it's, a safe spot to stay during your travels, through our state. The hawk in the garden a few weeks ago, we talked about a hawk that was hanging around. Hawk's gone. It's gone. I haven't seen it in about 2 weeks now. It's moved along. I did not go and take the ham radio general technician test. There were too many demands on my time for Saturday to do that. I will get it done, and I will get it done this year. I am going to be reaching out to the folks that held the exam, and see if they're going to offer it again this quarter. And if not, sometime the first half of the year, the next quarter of the year, and see if I can get it then. I suspected that was going to happen, as there were some other things coming up that I knew we were going to have to take care of over the weekend. The roof on the doghouse it's back on track, but it's still down the road a little ways, because we're looking probably at April for that. That's still the target. I adjusted my calendar. Like I said, I do have an extra guest coming in this week, coming in today. That's already that's already improved. Got a few more guests in. Got a gentleman coming in next week. What you've been waiting on, Ronaldo, if you're still there. My Bitcoin. I don't have the wallet yet. I got to decide on which one. And that's my biggest hang up. I gotta decide on which one. I've got how many do I have now? It's not that much. I've got 154,606 Satoshis right now, which comes out to right around $36.54, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I looked this morning early, and Bitcoin was around 23,350 US dollars if I was to buy it straight out, if I had that kind of money to pay cash for it. That's where it's been trending down a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit here and there, but I don't see it going bottoming out or anything. So, oh, pardon me. When I talk like this, I get, I belch. I think I mentioned this last time. I think this is a leftover note that I didn't get cleared off. People drinking on screen. Drinking alcohol on screen. Why is it a big deal? I never did figure that out. Look at me. I've got a glass of whiskey. Woo. I mean, drink if you want. I don't care. I drink wine every now and again. It's not it. It's just why am I going to, okay. It's like, hey, I got my liquor right here. Woo. Why? Why? I don't know. It seems to be a trend, and I don't know why. I'm sorry if I yelled. I didn't mean to yell in your ear. I try to be very uh, cognizant of how loud I'm speaking because I know sometimes I I when I'm listening to podcasters or I'm listening to YouTubers and I'm using my headphones or something, and all at once somebody just blares out really loud, it's very jarring, and I try not to do that. So I I'm human like everybody, but it's just something I try not to do. So again, if you're on Fountain, and something I've said, I doubt that I've said anything exciting so far, but if you're on Fountain or even, even over here on Clapper, you have a way to tip on that wish list thing. Uh, you can boost. I hope all of you will, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will subscribe, and I hope you will share and share the podcast, the YouTube, the Clapper account, all of these things out with your friends, and so we can talk about things. I love having conversation. Ronaldo's laughing at me about something and clapping about something, slapping his face about maybe. I don't know if that's one of these foreheads. Right now it's 23, 5, 29, 25. I can't chase. I don't chase the stock market like that. If there were, I'd lose my mind, Ronaldo. I'd lose my mind. I would lose my mind because I'd constantly be watching it's up and down, it's up and down, it's up and down. I can't do that. Can we stop with the conspiracies on the Ohio Railroad derailment? That came out of the blue, didn't it? I'm not very good at this either. I'm actually going down through a list of things to chat about it. Maybe I should announce it a little more when I change topics. I just, it's very awful what is happening to the folks over in Palestine, Ohio. It really is. And I know that I should do better myself of being prepared. Honestly, if one of the chemical tanks in the rail yard, in the marshaling yard above me was to tip over like it, I'd already be gone. There wouldn't be any getting me out of the house. I'd be gone. I'm that close. But that everybody, the minute there is something like that, everybody and their brother is suddenly an expert. They're expert on chemicals. They're experts on trains. They're experts on wheel bearings. They're experts on evacuations. They're experts on testing. And can we just stop? Can we just let these people rest and get their lives back on track, whatever way that turns out to be, whether it's, you know, Norfolk Southern buying them out, relocating them, whether it's, lifetime of water monitoring, you by Norfolk Southern, whatever it is. I am so fatigued with listening to people who really have no clue what they're talking about, just spurt stuff out. I I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't work for Norfolk Southern. I don't know what their protocols are. I don't know if they checked every box. I used to be in an organization where there was a Norfolk Southern representative. I really felt that they were a you know, decent company. I know they may still own the tracks in front of my place. I don't know for sure because there's another rail company that I think rents them, and I'm not sure how all that works either. But all my life, I've lived in the shadow of a chemical DuPont. Yeah, DuPont is a few miles below me, and the marshaling yard is it's just a couple blocks above me. So all my life, I've been right here in the middle of this, and I've never panicked about it. Maybe I should, but I haven't. My dad used to haul hazmat. He used to drive a truck that on occasion he had to haul hazmat. He had people who were supposed to have known better. Well, that's another story for a different day. I don't want to get onto that. The thing about it is this thing has been a nightmare. I don't know if it was properly handled or not, but the conspiracies are wearing me out. They really are. And part of it's because when we think we have a right to, I don't have a right to know what's going on in Palestine. I have a desire to know, but I don't have a right to know because that's not directly affecting me. That stuff from Palestine is not the chemical plume in the air. wasn't going to affect me. The water contamination wasn't going to affect me. The damage to the track wasn't going to affect me. Now, the people that it's going to affect have a right to know. The rest of us are just jumping on this thing, and a lot of people are jumping on it for clickbait kind of stuff. And it just oh, you're not chasing it either, huh? Yeah, you went and looked because I said it. I'm just teasing you. Ronaldo, I'm just teasing you. I just should we be aware of it? Yes, we should be aware of it. Do we have rights to demand stuff? We don't. The people of Palestine do, and the people down below that spill are going to. But the fact is, once whatever those contaminants are get down into the Ohio River and start going south towards the Mississippi, it's going to be so diluted. We're not even. It's not. Honestly, you're drinking worse now. If you're drinking water, you're probably drinking worse. Your bottled water is basically tap water. All that fancy stuff you get is basically tap water. You can get all the filters and you can get all of the things, and there's always going to be something, that gets through. If you filter out, if you get the Berkeys and you have the multiple stages and you have the little white filter and the black filter things, you're going to filter out minerals that your body needs. If you drink rainwater, you're getting pollutants. And all of the screaming about the acid in the air, oh my gosh, I haven't seen anybody's face melt off yet. So can we just stop? Can we just stop? There's been hazardous materials on trains since trains were created. And I know it was awful. And I'm not taking up for Norfolk Southern. I'm not. It's just we need to let these people be, because you can keep this thing stirred up and keep people in a constant state of panic. And that's not good for them. It's not good for them. So let's let them work this out and let's mind our own business. There are other things that we need to be worrying about. Get on your knees. Get on your knees and pray for those people. That's what you could do. And I'm going to go off on this little rabbit trail over here for just a second. When I hear someone say the only thing I can do is pray, it really breaks my heart, because prayer is the most important and the best thing anybody can do. You can move mountains with prayer. So to write it off as, well, the only thing I can do is pray. My gosh, prayer is a big deal. If you embrace it that way and you accept it, it's a big deal. When someone says they're going to pray for you, you should be thrilled, not saying, is all we're going to do is pray. I'm going to pray for these people. If we really would pray, if we were sincere about it, if we had a good prayer life and a good relationship with the Lord, the prayers would be, prayers are always answered. We just don't always like the answer that we get. But I mean, I'm sorry. I just, it's frustrating to me when people treat prayer as trivial. It's not. It's not. In the life of a believer, it's not trivial. So anyway, the thing in Ohio is still a mess. I think I said last week, let Buttigieg show up down there and give a glass of that water to his kid. I really don't want anybody hurting their kid that way, but the symbolism is, if that water is good enough for your baby to drink, Pete Buttigieg, then it's safe for the rest of the people that live there. It does need to be cleaned up. They should have been in there a long time ago to clean it up. But, we've got to let these people get on with their lives. There's a lot. You can't keep them in constant state of panic. So, all right, let me just go on. Oh, I talked a little bit about Bitcoin already. That was coming up. I will be now. Oh, here's the big deal, Ronaldo. You might suggest this, and I know Brian's not listening, but I'm going to ask Brian over at the Lots Project about this too, because he had some good suggestions there. The best way to purchase the Bitcoin. So I don't the Bitcoin that I have now, I didn't actually buy. It's been given to me, or it's been a benefit from the Fold app, like you get discounts on some, or you get points and stuff like that from other cards. Satoshi's is something that you get from the Fold app. And you spin a little wheel every day, you get 5 to 125, you get bonuses and stuff like that. So I've been doing that, and that's how I've collected what I've got. But to be a Satoshi millionaire, I'm going to have to invest some hard cash, and that's okay. I don't mind to do that. We've had this conversation before. It's no worse than going out to dinner somewhere, a couple of times, and it's I'm not going to bankrupt the house. I'm not going to bet the farm. I've got a little fun money, and I will drop it in there. So I need a good way to buy it. Now I do have what's it? Coin something. And I've got Fold, and I've got Cash App, but I don't like the idea of Cash App. It just has some negative some negative feel to it there. So I need to figure out the best way to get it. So I am going to get it. Religion, I always talk a little bit about the church. I always talk a little bit about the church. And usually, now I haven't said it in a long time, but I am a member of the United Methodist Church. But when I talk about the church, or when I talk about my religious beliefs or my relationship with Christ, I'm not a representative of the United Methodist Church. I'm not here like the bishop would be. I'm not here like the district superintendent would be, or something like that. I'm just here. This is just me and my personal view on things. So if when I start talking about my relationship with Christ, it's mine. It's not what the Methodist Church tells me I'm supposed to be doing. Because, you know, I may disagree. I may disagree. And there's nothing wrong with a little disagreement. But my church, we are having Bible study. We're focusing on the Easter. This Wednesday morning, our themed Easter Bible study will be on a movie that they use a limestone scale model of Jerusalem as it would have been during the time of Christ, and they take you back, with their little camera, and they video down through like you're walking through it, and I've previewed it. It's a fun little movie. So we'll be focusing on that's a 2-part one. So that one will cover 2 Wednesdays of Bible study. Bibles and brunch, we like to call it, because we offer refreshments. You earned what you had. Well, yes, I did earn. Yes, Ronaldo, I did earn. Back to the Bitcoin for a minute. I did earn what I have because people supported me with that. You're right. You're right. I just basically meant that I didn't purchase it with what do they like to say? Fiat dollars. I think that's the phrase they like to use in the lingo. I did not use fiat dollars, but I do want to go ahead and take care of that Besides the little more that I have, the little more than I can share. So we're going to have our Bibles and brunch Wednesdays at the Diamond United Methodist Church. Anybody who lives in the area wants to come, you are more than welcome. 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings. So I also submitted our grant application to the United Methodist West Virginia Foundation. That application is to help us provide a series of lunch and learns. So this would probably follow the Bible study by an hour and a half, give us time to clean up from Bible study, and then have the lunch and learn. The lunch and learns would be educational programs or informational programs from outside organizations. They would not be church focused. They would be, we've done them before, but not at this scale. Like we had AARP come in to talk about retirement and open enrollment and things like that. It wouldn't have to be AARP. It could be AMAC or any of them, or all of them. We had a group come in that does weatherization projects for seniors. We had, oh darn it, we had a group that came in that does rehabilitation. Well, I say rehabilitation, remodeling kind of things. Like if you are low income and you need a ramp put to your door because you maybe had a stroke or something, they do that. Um, so we've had we want have the fire department come in and talk about maybe do a distribution of smoke detectors or offer to install them for you or check them and those kind of little stuff like that. That's community focused, informational things for the community. Uh, and we would host them out of our fellowship hall. We would provide lunch and be open to everybody. And just so that we're a little better community um, partner, so the church is a little better community partner. So I got that. I updated. I don't know if it's called a marquee, and I'm running over on my time just a tad. There's something I got to get to here in just a few minutes. I hope you guys will stay with me. I'm going to be a little bit over my hour, but the I want to call it a marquee. I think it's a marquee. I looked up the word marquee to make sure that's what I was talking about, and it talked about a big tent or something. But no, it's the little sign that you usually see out in front of churches, and they put their Sunday school time and their pastor's name and stuff like that. Well, so I updated ours to include that we were having Bible study on Wednesdays. And then after I got back home, I thought, hey, some of the churches around, they get kind of popular for these little sayings that they'll put on their marquee. And one of the only ones that comes to mind right off is um, the only, and this wasn't very nice to have on a church one, but it said the only way you'll have a smoking hot body is, no, cremation is the only way you'll have a smoking hot body. No, oh gosh, see, I should have brought this in here. Cremation is your last chance to have a smoking hot body. So I really wouldn't put that on the church marquee, but there was some images. They may have been photoshopped, but some images of church marquees with stuff and stuff like that. Like one's supposed to be a quotation from God that says, "I saw that," And I thought I'm gonna collect up a bunch of these little sayings to put. We don't have a lot of room, so they have to be really short. And plus, you wouldn't be able to read very well driving by ours anyhow. So you couldn't have it very detailed, but I want to do that. That's another thing that hadn't been happening is our marquee had just said the same thing for years. It was very boring, and I think changing that up just a little bit here and there brings attention to the fact that I knew that was a church there, but I didn't think they were active. That that'll help there. We've been talking about getting that done for a long while. Oh, some handouts we've been talking about since like last fall, since before the pastor left or was removed, about getting out to the community and doing some handouts and things. And so I finally Saturday, that was one of the other things I was doing, finally Saturday, put one together that just invites people back to church. It has the cross and it has the Easter feeling to it, but it's just very simple. We're inviting you back to church. Please come, and here's the day. It doesn't say a whole lot other than that. Now look, here's what I wanted to tell you. In my Etsy shop, which there's a link, and I'm pretty sure it's updated, Ronaldo. I'm pretty sure that link is updated. You'll DM me on Telegram. That's fine. For the Etsy shop, there's new merch. There's new merch for Holstein House. And in case you haven't paid attention, you see this little coffee cup here? Over there on Clapper. This is an enamel cup. This is not ceramic, so you can't put this in the microwave. But this is a little tiny. It's not that tiny, but it's a small coffee cup, and it has what it's got on here. It says Holstein House Hipcamp, established 2023. Rest yourself. And this little picture that you can't make out here is a little camper van. It's a little camper van there. And I have a second one that has the little tent because I'm offering the little camper van spot and the little tent spot. But they both say Holstein House Hipcamp, established 2023. rest yourself. So this is available. You can order this. I've got some t-shirts, samples that should be here. I've got a few little stickers. I don't not much on stickers, but excuse me. I had to do that since I had it right in front of my face when I was thirsty. So you can get this on the in the Etsy store. Well, but don't do it yet. There's a couple of things I want to share with you. One is I'm going to do a 50th episode. This is episode 41. So in 9 more, it'll be, 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks. I'm going to do a 50th episode giveaway. Now, next Tuesday, I will give you the information on how to participate in it. I don't have all the things worked out yet, but yeah, you're going to have to give me some contact information because I'm going to make at least one of these the prize. And I got to get it to you. So I'll have to have contact information. I might make one of each of the cups because I do have a ceramic cup that has the Holstein House logo on it. And then the enameled cup for the Hipcamp. Then I had some t-shirts made. So I'll figure out all of those pieces, but then I will share with you next Tuesday how you will participate in the giveaway. Okay, so that'll be March the 7th. I haven't decided if that's going to be a live show, and I'll explain that not today because we're already running late. But be sure and check back on Tuesday for that. So even if it's not a live show, it'll go up Tuesday. So I want to thank HJ. HJ, you're listening? 1,000 sats through the Fountain app to me for his appreciation, and I appreciate you greatly. You don't know how much you and Euphrosynos. Euphrosynos gave me sats last time. So, but he's kind of like in between sometimes, so that's fine. Then this is the one that I really wanted to share with you, and I really wanted to get to this. On the Fountain app, a screen name that is pronounced Afrothymix, 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 gave me 3,000 sats. But I don't know why. Because Afrothymix snarked about me not having my setup right before going live. That's why in the beginning, as we were talking, I was kind of, hinting at, I had it ready on my end. I had it ready on my this ready on my end. So he gives me, and I say he, I don't know. In my world, he is a neutral. So he gives me 3,000 sats and then says that he sat there for 5 minutes waiting for me to get my setup right. But my setup was fine. And either Afrothymix was in really early, but it wouldn't have worked on Fountain because that was trimmed and I uploaded it later. And he had to sit through, unless he was watching it on YouTube and then came to Fountain to snark about it. YouTube, sometimes I will have it kick because they put on some of the videos they put commercials in first. So I'll start it early and I'll have a little banner rolling that says we're starting at 10, see you then, and have some music playing in the background, and I'll start that a couple minutes ahead. So unless he was doing that and then came to Fountain to complain about it, I don't know. So either he was in early and had to sit through the countdown music, or he was commenting on my discussion with the other participants, Ronaldo and Clark, and I don't know who all was in there last week, but we were having the discussion. I was fine. They were telling me that the video was lagging. I had everything ready to go. Yeah, I wasn't brushing my teeth and all and brushing my hair and walking back and forth with a video on. I mean, that's not what was happening. So my setup was fine. And I want to thank him for the stats, and I'm still waiting to hear it. So I did ask. I said, thanks, but I'd like to know what your podcast is so that I can learn how it's supposed to be done. So he hasn't told me that yet. Said he'd come back in 3 weeks or so and see something about it. I don't know. But I'm still waiting for him to tell me where his podcast is so that I can see how it's supposed to be done. But between Tool Man Tim and Rax, John over at SOE Willis, they have shown me how to deal with this. And as a special thank you for Afro the Mix, starting tomorrow, his name is a promo code for my Etsy shop. So, and now I have it in the show notes, and it's spelled out the way it is. And there's also a link in the show notes for it. So a special thank you to Afro the Mix, because you're now a promo code for my Etsy shop starting March the 1st, which is tomorrow as I'm recording this, through the end of the month, through March 31st. If you enter Afro the Mix at your checkout, you'll get 5% off your total order at my Etsy shop. So Afro the Mix, AFROTHYMIX is the promo code for 5% off your total order in my Etsy shop. And so check the show notes for the link and for the correct spelling. And I thought that would be just a great way to end this. And like I said, I'm running over a little bit. But we have T-shirts, we have cups, we have stickers. No, I fell asleep. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry you fell asleep. You do that a lot. But you should get better sleep or not stay up so late. But yeah, Afro the Mix, that's the discount code. And with that, I'm going to end the show. I'm going to say thank you once again and ask you to share your support. You can share your support either by if you're on Clapper. I'm sorry. If you're on Clapper, you can contribute to the wish list over there. Buy me a donut or buy me some coffee over there. If you're on Fountain, hey, sats are great, baby. Sats are great. If you are now, you can hit me up over at on Telegram. Telegram.te. Oh gosh, what is it? t.me / Holstein House. And the language I've been told to use here is, y'all, I use Lightning Tip Bot for tips here in the group, in the Holstein House group on Telegram. And if you want to tip me because of whatever, you can respond to any message that I post with / tip, insert the amount of sats, and I will get that. It's a Bitcoin. It's a Lightning wallet. So I appreciate your time, guys. And I really enjoyed having you here with me, hanging out all this time. Even those of you who didn't make comments, I really appreciate you. If you don't get to see this live, pay attention to the dates. That promo code is good from March the 1st to March the 31st, 2023. So if you're seeing this really, really late, there you go. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys over at Clapper. Thanks for participating. I will check into T-Mobile. And you guys here on the live stream, thank you so much again for participating. Please share it out. Ask your friends to subscribe and share and all that great stuff. And we will see you on Friday Live and Unscripted. Bye-bye. So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.